just try and build up anything without those ideas. We only try to destroy them, because we're spiritually provided for. Exactly like the children. Whence have I that joyful knowledge, shared with the peasant, that alone gives peace to my soul? Whence did I get it? Brought up with an idea of God, a Christian, my whole life filled with the spiritual blessings Christianity has given me, full of them, and living on those blessings, like the children I did not understand them, and destroy, that is tried to destroy, what I live by. And as soon as an important moment of life comes, like the children when they are cold and hungry, I turn to Him, and even less than the children when their mother scolds them for their childish mischief, do I feel that my childish efforts at wanton madness are reckoned against me. Yes, what I know not by reason, but it has been given to me, revealed to me, and I know it with my heart, by faith in the chief thing taught by the Church. The Church. The Church. Levin repeated to himself. He turned over on the other side, and leaning on his elbow, fell to gazing into the distance at a herd of cattle crossing over to the river. But can I believe in all the Church teaches? He thought, trying himself, and thinking of everything that could destroy his present peace of mind. Intentionally he recalled all those doctrines of the Church which had always seemed most strange and had always been a stumbling block to him. The creation? But how did I explain existence? By existence? By nothing? The devil and sin. But how do I explain evil? The atonement? But I know nothing, and I can know nothing but what has been told to me and all men. And it seemed to him that there was not a single article of faith of the Church which could destroy the chief thing, faith in God, in goodness, as the one goal of man's destiny. Under every article of faith of the Church could be put the faith in the service of truth instead of one's desires. And each doctrine did not simply leave that faith unshaken, each doctrine seemed essential to complete that great miracle, continually manifest upon earth, that made it possible for each man and millions of different sorts of men, wise men and imbeciles, old men and children, all men, peasants, Lvov, kitty, beggars and kings, to understand perfectly the same one thing, and to build up thereby that life of the soul which alone is worth living, and which alone is precious to us. Lying on his back, he gazed up now into the high, cloudless sky. Do I not know that that is infinite space, and that it is not a round arch? But, however I screw up my eyes and strain my sight, I cannot see it not round and not bounded, and in spite of my knowing about infinite space, I am incontestably right when I see a solid blue dome, and more right than when I strain my eyes to see beyond it. Levin ceased thinking, and only, as it were, listened to mysterious voices that seemed talking joyfully and earnestly within him. Can this be faith? He thought, afraid to believe in his happiness. My God, I thank thee, he said, gulping down his sobs, and with both hands brushing away the tears that filled his eyes. Chapter 14. Levin looked before him and saw a herd of cattle, then he caught sight of his trap with Raven in the shafts, and the coachman, who, driving up to the herd, said something to the herdsman. Then he heard the rattle of the wheels and the snort of the sleek horse close by him. But he was so buried in his thoughts that he did not even wonder why the coachman had come for him. He only thought of that when the coachman had driven quite up to him and shouted to him. The mistress sent me. Your brother has come, and some gentlemen with him. Levin got into the trap and took the reins. As though just roused out of sleep, for a long while Levin could not collect his faculties. He stared at the sleek horse flecked with lather between his haunches and on his neck, where the harness rubbed, stared at Ivan the coachman sitting beside him, and remembered that he was expecting his brother, thought that his wife was most likely uneasy at his long absence, and tried to guess who was the visitor who had come with his brother. And his brother and his wife and the unknown guest seemed to him now quite different from before. He fancied that now his relations with all men would be different. With my brother there will be none of that aloofness there always used to be between us, there will be no disputes, with Kitty there shall never be quarrels, with the visitor, whoever he may be, I will be friendly and nice, with the servants, with Ivan, it will all be different. Pulling the stiff rein and holding in the good horse that snorted with impatience and seemed begging to be let go, Levin looked round at Ivan sitting beside him, not knowing what to do with his unoccupied hand, continually pressing down his shirt as it puffed out, and he tried to find something to start a conversation about with him. He would have said that Ivan had pulled the saddle girth up too high, but that was like blame, and he longed for friendly, warm talk. Nothing else occurred to him. "Your honor must keep to the right and mind that stump," said the coachman, pulling the rein Levin held. "Please don't touch and don't teach me," said Levin, angered by this interference. Now, as always, interference made him angry, and he felt sorrowfully at once how mistaken had been his supposition that his spiritual condition could immediately change him in contact with reality. He was not a quarter of a mile from home when he saw Grisha and Tanya running to meet him. "Uncle Kostya, Mama's coming, and Grandfather, and Sergei Ivanovich, and someone else," they said, clambering up into the trap. "Who is he?" "An awfully terrible person. And he does like this with his arms," said Tanya, getting up in the trap and mimicking Katavasov. "Old or young?" asked Levin, laughing, reminded of someone, he did not know whom, by Tanya's performance. "Oh, I hope it's not a tiresome person," thought Levin. As soon as he turned, at a bend in the road, and saw the party coming, Levin recognized Katavasov in a straw hat, walking along swinging his arms just as Tanya had shown him. Katavasov was very fond of discussing metaphysics, having derived his notions from natural science writers who had never studied metaphysics, and in Moscow Levin had had many arguments with him of late. And one of these arguments, in which Katavasov had obviously considered that he came off victorious, was the first thing Levin thought of as he recognized him. "No, whatever I do, I won't argue and give utterance to my ideas lightly," he thought. Getting out of the trap and greeting his brother and Katavasov, Levin asked about his wife. "She has taken Mitya to Colic, a copse near the house. She meant to have him out there because it's so hot indoors," said Dolly. Levin had always advised his wife not to take the baby to the wood, thinking it unsafe, and he was not pleased to hear this. "She rushes about from place to place with him," said the prince, smiling. "I advised her to try putting him in the ice cellar." "She meant to come to the bee house. She thought you would be there." "We are going there," said Dolly. "Well, and what are you doing?" said Sergei Ivanovich, falling back from the rest and walking beside him.